Okay, I'm going to read the comments here on my video, Understanding Your History. These reactions to me seem exactly what I'm talking about why guilt and stuff is not particularly healthy, and how, if you look closely, it leads into a perpetuation of what, a person is guilty for. I mean, I'm taking responsibility, and also I'm acting all like, what? That's no big deal. So which is it, you guys? Figure it out. Am I trashing America? Am I sending all my money to the Philippines? Should I be? Am I a hypocrite? Okay. Mirage Science says, Piro, you drive me insane. If I drop a nuke on China, does that mean you are partially responsible because we are part of the same nation? Well, that's a little different example of just some other individual. It could be. Are you my president? Did I pay for that nuclear bomb? Because depends. How does a nation act? Well, they pool their resources and have certain agents expend those resources. Individuals take actions. I see. Following orders isn't an excuse, and the same logic doesn't work in reverse. Well, there are individuals involved here. I'm complaining about Teddy Roosevelt. You haven't jumped on board blaming it all on him. There was a lot of individuals that acted on this, and they were people that we funded and voted for. Before women could vote, you wouldn't say each family voted, you would say men voted. Well, I think women did have an influence on who their men voted for. I think it could get complicated, actually, if we talked about that. This quote-unquote we doesn't exist, and believing it does just makes room for our government to get away with more crime. Do gangs act or gang members? Well, this we does exist. You wouldn't exist. Reproduction is a social phenomenon of the we. You can't just reproduce alone. You wouldn't be here. You wouldn't have been reproduced. You go, well, I won't reproduce. Fine, but you are here because of the we. I'm not going to read my own replies and comments. Mirage Science says, the U.S. and U.K. invaded Iraq March 20, 2003. I was 11 years old. So I guess I was a guilty little kid placing a burden on parents who took money from the government which funded the war. Ignoring, of course, that the government stole the money in the first place. No, it didn't steal the money. You're on U.S. property. It's like the U.S. Country Club. You have to pay fees to be here. Okay, you could emigrate. I told you that before. When you were 11 years old, well, I don't know. Do you think that you were kept warm with cheap oil at 11? So I couldn't do anything about it. Well, you could now, huh? But now well, I don't have to because I wasn't to blame. Well, no, now all we're saying is know what happened. If you want to know what happened, pretend you don't have any complicity. If that'll help, do that. Donnie Forte says, what's amazing here is that you defend Japan's imperialism and their actions, but don't do the same with U.S. history. I have not at all defended Japan's imperialism. At all. We're a complete byproduct of European imperialism, and Europe installed people that would be more friendly to the slave trade. It was only after Americans backstabbed their own enablers did it actually force the American people officials to call into question a system that was completely and utterly horrid. Granted, it didn't happen for a while, but it shouldn't be surprising. I didn't say it was surprising at all, and I didn't say it wasn't forgivable. Quite the opposite, I believe, in this very video. I said, of course things are forgivable. And Donnie Forte goes on, I'm leaving out comments of mine. A nation built on slave hundreds of years before they were their own country, and somehow you can't place the same kind of blame on Japanese imperialism. Say what? You have a brand new country trained and culturalized religion in the ways of their parents with a world that's monopolized to suit European countries, and you're somehow surprised that Americans wanted to establish trade routes in Japan. No, I'm not surprised. Europe established terrorism in colonial America, but it's all America's fault, right? This is where people bring in the frame. If you criticize America, then you're saying everything's Americans' fault, not me. No, when I criticize America, I'm criticizing America. I have and can praise America, and I can ignore America and look just at the individuals, and we can do all these things. And one thing we do is face facts that our government was not isolationist while it was telling the people that. It was intervening, and in a disgusting way that is important to us. Why? Because we're not Romans. We're not British royal citizens. We believed we were anti-imperialistic Democrats. And at the turn of the century, there were a lot of countries looking to us like, yeah, we want this. It's like Russia was spreading communism. We were supposed to be spreading democracy. We had a chance to do that. People actually believed it. And no, we weren't into it. Yeah, that's sort of sad. And then he's going into, he's amazed that I think a trade agreement is what led to the atrocities of Japanese imperialism. And see, this is just moving the goalposts and stuff. I didn't say it was the trade agreement. It's the fact that we took warships over there and said, we're going to blow you the fuck up unless you open up. They saw the warships and said, we better open up, and also we better get some fucking warships. And by the way, they think it'd be a good idea for us to take over Asia. Okay. Sounds better than what happened to the Philippines. Okay. Dynacat Loves Me says, recognizing that there are debts that cannot be repaid is simple realism. The question always needs to be, where do we go from where we are? Yeah, and I haven't been talking about paying debts in that sense. I've been talking about admitting the past, because admitting where we have been and how we got here is going to be crucial information in answering where do we need to go from here. So, okay, that'll